Yes, everyone, welcome to the tactical preview for Manchester United versus Wolves. Before we get into that, I'm obviously going to have a little bit of a chat to you guys about what I think is going to happen now So the draw I really wanted to see was City against Liverpool. That would have made me happier than a pig in shit. We didn't get that, and I was really hoping for that, because I think it's a bonus whoever goes out really for us, isn't it? Unfortunately that we didn't get that. It looks like City have probably got a pretty easy tie. They'll be delighted getting Spurs, and it looks like Liverpool have got certainly a winnable tie against Porto. United, oh, don't worry about it, we only get the favourites. Nice one. But you know what, I do think United will have a go, and I think that's something that we know that we're going to get under Solskjaer. Under Mourinho, we wouldn't have had a go. We would have gone full on, park the bus all over the place. And I think under Solskjaer, because he likes to play football on the counter and he likes to get in behind teams, I think we can score against Barcelona. The issue that we've got is, can we keep a clean sheet against Barcelona? And if we're being real to ourselves, probably not. Chris Smalling against Messi makes me want to uncup, to be honest. Dembele against Ashley Young makes me want to go and hide and bury myself in sand. I think it's going to be a mega tough ask for us, but this is the Champions League, and this is why we're in it. Now, this United team isn't a vintage Champions League winning team, and I don't think it's going to be a team that's going to be able to do that, but I am open to seeing what we can do and what circumstances we can pull out. And if we've got a fit team, then I feel we can have a go at it. The nightmare is that if you look beyond Barcelona, which is a mad thing to do, but if you look beyond Barcelona, you've got Liverpool in a semi-final potentially, and then City in a final. If there was a way to win it as a United fan, unbelievable, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Get your questions in. We will be coming to the questions, and we're going to start having a quick chat there about what we think Wolves are going to do, because the Wolves are not an easy proposition. United haven't had a great draw in the FA Cup this year. I think we've really struggled with the opposition that we've been given. Has been a bit of a nightmare for us. Wolves, again, is in that away to Wolves is not an easy game at all. I mean, yes, it's not Liverpool, it's not City, but this is a tough game for us. This is a hell of a tough game. And Wolves at the moment they've been playing some great football, and the issue I sort of had with Wolves at the start of the season, when he was playing Jimenez up front on his own, Jimenez is shit, but he's quite useful in a two, and they've been playing Doto alongside him. I actually think that there's been something in Jimenez being a bit of a link-up man, because he's massive, isn't he? Now, that midfield three, though, Moutinho, Dendoncker, Neves, that is a seriously good midfield, and probably one of the better midfield threes that's in the Premier League. We all know about Matt Doherty. It'd be a massive upgrade on our fullbacks. And the 3-5-2 system that they've got covers a lot of the frailties that they've got in their team. They are going to be a nightmare for us to come up against. The thing is, I think United have got a very good way to get amongst them. Now, obviously, we didn't have a good result at the weekend against Arsenal, but like Ollie said, it wasn't a bad performance. It was a shit result, but it wasn't a shit performance. It was a decent performance. We created all the chances. We just didn't put them away. Let's hope that we can change that. And I think one man that could change that for United is Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial's expected goals is something like half the amount of the goals that he's actually scored, which means he scores difficult to score goals. That's key. That means that the chances that fell to the likes of Marcus and Lukaku against Arsenal, they get buried by this guy. So that's want to see him in the team. And the rest of the team, the full starting 11 that I'm going to go for today, and I think the key player is definitely going to be Tony Martial. But the starting 11 that I would like to see United roll up with is hang on, just get rid of this clown in the comments. The starting 11 that I would like to go with is as follows. So I think it's going to be Romero in net. The back two, the two centre-half partnership we're going to see is Smalling alongside Lindelof. I think that's really starting to get something together, and I think it'd make a lot of sense for Ollie to continue with these two playing together. I'm going to go with Luke Shaw at left back. Ashley Young is suspended, so we're going to go with Dalot at right back. And then looking at the options that we've got, I think the only guy that's really missing out in this midfield is McTominay. And the only reason he's missing out is because I think that Matic really needs match fitness. Now, Matic getting a little bit of match fitness, and we'll bring Scott McTominay on with an hour gone, and we'll see what the crack is. And I'm going to go with Fred and Pogba, and then Andreas to try and get into the gaps a little bit. You might see Jesse Lingard, you might see Herrera, but with him coming back from injury, I think let's be a little bit more sensible and put them on the bench. And the reason I want to see Pereira getting in the middle here, it can get into that false 9 area, it can get into the number 8 area, it can operate in the number 10 area, it can operate all over this half of the pitch. And the reason you want to do that is then you can go man for man against their centre halves, and you can make it really difficult for them and make them have to try and miss and find into the midfield. And if they get into the midfield, then you're looking at Matic and Fred and Pogba starting to press their midfield 3, and you might start to win possession back in the opposition half. That's what I would like this United team to do. I'd like them to go and press Wolves, because they are a team that likes to press. So I would like to see us go and press their press and see if we can win the ball back high up the pitch. If you do, I think Andreas and Pogba have got the ability to find them in the final third, and I think if they do, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial getting in behind the likes of Bolly are going to absolutely have a field day. They do have a fairly high line. It's not the highest, it's not City, it's not Barcelona, but it is a pretty high line, and you can get in behind it. They like to play almost the same way that United like to play, where they like to try and get into the final third in behind the defence. That's something that we need to watch out for, because they do go very direct through midfield and then into the channels. In this 4-4-2 diamond, you're looking for the 2 fullbacks to provide you the width, which means they're going to be well over the halfway line as their average position, which means that they're probably going to be exposed. That's why I wanted Matic in there over McTominay to start. I think he's a little bit more nous about him, and he's going to help Lindelof and Smalling. He can also deal with the aerial ball as it comes over the top a little bit as well, as they're aiming for Jimenez. So that's why I've gone with this 11. Mason, is he sick, or is he probably on the bench tomorrow? My guess, he's probably on the bench tomorrow, and he isn't sick. But I think he'll be on the bench, and I think you might see him get a run out in the FA Cup tomorrow. That's my feeling. I don't know that, just my feeling. But that is what I would like to see United go with. Let me know in the comments, do you agree, do you disagree, and how do you think that would do against Wolves? Pretty effective system. I think they're doing fantastic, and I hope they don't get picked apart in the summer, but I do sort of maybe envisage that they might get picked apart. Question time then. Let's head over to the Patreon group and let's see what you guys are saying over in the Discord chat. If you're interested in anything to do with the Patreon, there's nearly 600 members in there. I do need to rewrite the shows, what's going on, but there will be some new shows, including like taking the piss out of all the idiots in the comments. Will be a show which is coming out pretty soon for everybody on Patreon. Like I said, there's nearly 600 members in there, and they're getting behind the scenes info, they're getting behind the scenes vlogs that we get from here, and also first word on transfers. So as we're coming to the end of the season, you might want to get a little bit privy on that, and there is some current news in there at the moment, and as and when I get any more, we will be putting it in the Patreon group. It doesn't come out publicly as well, so if you're interested in any of that, the link is in the description of the video. There's loads of perks for it, so come and join the Patreon group. As I said, on a match day it's carnage. There's nearly 600 in there. There's a top Man United community which is loving it for the matches. If you're into that, come and join it, and then you get priority questions like this in the previews. Sean says, do you think this is Greenwood's time to shine and make that big step up to show that he could be getting the odd start rest of the season? I think he comes off the bench. I'd be very surprised if he starts, but he could. I think he definitely could. If United aren't prioritising the FA Cup, then you might see Mason start. I personally would like to see Marcus rested, because with the knock that he's had, I think he needs it. I really do think he needs a rest. If he needs a rest, then Mason might get a start, and I think Mason will surprise people if he gets 90 minutes. Liam says, odds on Mason playing after all his comment, and if he does, is it a perfect hat-trick or just a regular one? Have I seen him score with his head? I think I have seen him score with his head. So he's got it in his locker. Connor, if Mason, is this the Mason Greenwood questions? Connor says, if Mason was to start to rest Rashford's ankle, does that Does Marcus sit on the bench just in case, or does Chong sit on the bench for an attacking option? If Mason was to start, and I don't think he will, I think you definitely have Marcus on the bench ready to come back on. You may even still have Lukaku on. If he's a worry for starting, I think they'd probably still put him on the bench. Chong played midweek, and to be honest, none of the lads that played midweek would really lighten it up. That was a bit of a disappointing result and a bit of a disappointing performance against Midtjylland. They could and should have probably done a little bit better. Mighty Mike says, going on holiday to Barcelona next week, is there anything you want me to do while I'm there? Anything, and then the Josie emoji. As for tomorrow's game, is the key to stop Neves? It's not just Neves, because you've got Moutinho and Dendoncker. Dendoncker gets a hell of a lot forward. I'd be a lot happier if Ander Herrera was playing in this game, because I think he would be key in this. I think the key with Wolves is to stop the balls coming through the midfield into the channel behind an area that we like to get forward in. So Dalot's going to have a good game tomorrow. And I think our midfield closing down theirs is going to be a real key battle. But they're going to be looked to getting behind us as we look to get behind them. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I'll be shocked if it's 0-0. Jack says, who's Wolves' best player and what are their threats? We've already kind of covered it. But in terms of their best player, I would say Neves. And if I had to take one player from Neves and give them one player, who would they be? Well, I would like to take Neves. But if I have to take a player and give them a player, it's going to be Matt Doherty and they can have Ashley Young. I think that's a top fair swap, isn't it? Is Mason ready to start? I don't think so. Playing a front two of Marshall and Rashford, that's what I'm going for. Any of their squad you'd want in ours? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people moaned at this, and Ryan was like, don't fucking get your obsession with Adama Traore. Adama Traore is a mega underrated player. I don't know the reasons why he can't play 90 minutes, why he only seems to come on and do half an hour at a time. But Adama Traore, per 90 minutes, is putting in more successful crosses than Dalot, a shit ton more than Lingard, a shit ton more than Marshall. He's completing more dribbles and more take-ons, and his crosses successful to unsuccessful ratio absolutely embarrasses Ashley Young. He's a beast. Is an explosive player. I think he's something totally different to what United have got in the squad. Lacking end product? Okay, well, he's better than most of our end product that's coming off that right hand side as well. Even Dalot, he's got a better completion than Dalot. I would be very interested in seeing what he could do as an impact player, and I don't think he would want to start too many games, or he wouldn't kick off if he wasn't starting too many games, so I would like to see that. Loki with Lukaku out, Rashford needing a rest. Do we see Marshall, Greenwood and Lingard? I think with Lingard being rough as well, I think he probably comes off the bench. I think Mason's on the bench. I think. Do you think there's a role for Scholes in Ollie's United? So I think it's gonna come out. I think what happened with the owner at Oldham properly. He clearly was interfering a little bit, and Scholes didn't like it. And fair play to Scholes for going, can't work under those circumstances. I'm out, man. Ollie mentioned in the press conference, didn't he, that he's texted him and he said there's a role for him here if he wants one. What that would be, I don't know, but I don't think having Paul Scholes around could possibly be a bad thing. Certainly it'd get him off the telly and stop moaning, wouldn't it? So that'd be a bonus. What are my thoughts on Fred, Herrera, Pogba midfield? Yes, I could roll with that if Herrera was fit, but I think Matic needs that match fitness for this running. That's the one. Kerry says he's Mason out of an illness. I'm not buying that. With Wolves' ability on the counter, do you play McTominay instead of Matic to have more mobility? Says Donald. I go the other way. I go with Matic over McTominay for how good he is in the air and also his communication. I don't see Scott organising the defence around him a little bit much. And if there's a weakness in Smalling and Lindelof, I think it's communication. Matt says, do you think Ander playing 90 minutes is a bit too much too soon? Yes. And if Romero is in nets and Young suspended, will Ander be captain or will it be Pogba? I think it'll probably be Pogba, I think, tomorrow. Oliver, how big a game is this for us and should FA Cup be a big priority? I think winning trophies should be a big priority, and I think a club should always look to win trophies and certainly prioritise winning trophies over coming fourth and getting Champions League qualification. That being said, I think for United it's probably not as big a priority. I think the top four probably is a bigger priority for us, but as a fan, nothing beats going to Wembley and winning a trophy for me. Lewis says 20 years on from that goal, back at the new camp, it's almost written in the stars. Imagine. Get Herrera back with the armband, says Sean. FA Cup away to Arsenal, Chelsea and Wolves. Champions League, Juventus, PSG, Barca and potentially Liverpool in the semis. If we're doing it the hardest possible way. Yep. Sean says, who stops Ruben Neves and how do you stop him, and what do you make of João Moutinho's first season in the Prem? I think Moutinho's been okay. I don't think he's lit it up certainly to the level that Neves I think has. I would put Pereira on him, and I would just cut about him a little bit, and I would just try and deny him room, because I think if you give him room, that's when he hurts you. When we go undefeated for the rest of the season in all competition, where at Old Trafford is Ollie's statue going to be, says Mitz. We've already got a king of the Stretford end, haven't we? Behind the subs bench. Should we be trying to sign Neves or keep him at McTominay and Matic and grow in Ghana? I would like to see Neves, to be honest with you. Nobi Star, I was in the stands watching the Youth League versus Midtjylland. How can Ollie not use Gomez more? His passing range is wild. It's just the physicality of him, and I was a little bit disappointed with the way he went down, which ended up being, I mean, he could have given a foul for it, the ref, but the way we ended up conceding from him going down like that, I think you've just got to be stronger. There's a time and a place to be conceding fouls like that, and that wasn't the time or the place. Could this be a game for Angel to make a difference? Feel like his quality on the ball could be key after the 60th minute. I hadn't even considered Angel in this team actually, because him, Garner, Laird, Chong all played midweek and was disappointing. I think it would be the wrong message to send to those players now if United promoted them on the back of going out of the Youth Cup to an underdog. Maybe. Lewis says, Wolves are a seriously good team. If we take 2 or 3 players from their first team, we can realistically start challenging for the title just from those players alone. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And Ryan says, Adama Traore is nothing but a pace merchant. The fact that you can't see he has no end product baffles me. He has end products. He literally has more end product than virtually every single player in our team when it comes to like crossing and stuff. Don't know what you want me to say. Them's the facts. De Gea contract, not a clue. Porto will win at home and not Liverpool out, says Jacob. Oh, can you imagine? Howson, you're always a jinx and bring bad luck. How the fuck do you work that out? Rooney needs a statue. You need to get out. Mark says 20 years ago we played Barcelona twice in the league in the group stages, 2 3-3 draws. Remember them as if they was yesterday. Me too, mate. And we are old. Top 4 has to be a priority just for the fact of signing players to keep Pogba happy. You're probably right. Neves is quality playmaker, but as a Mendes client I don't see us getting him, and if we do, would cost an absolute fortune. I do wonder what the crack is with having sacked a Mendes client in Mourinho and how that affects, and obviously there's other Mendes clients. I think Di Maria, it's not really gone to plan with a lot of his clients. Is that a major issue for us when it comes to recruitment? I hope no. Subs bench, not a clue for this game. What do I think of Sprazier, says Shatman Dave. I think he probably should be doing better with the team that he's got at his disposal, to be honest. Do you think if, with Young suspended, if Delo impresses, he will keep his place? Fingers crossed, mate. Do you think Scholes could join the coaching staff? Who knows, to be honest with you. Give us your score predictions in the comments. I'm struggling, you know. I am struggling with who the hell we go with in this, in terms of the scores. I'm obviously going to back United. I always back United, whether I even deep down believe it or not. But this is a tougher game than I think people are giving us credit. They're looking around at all of the PSG game and this game and that game. Wolves are a really good side, and I struggle to think that we're going to just turn up and slap them. So I think this is going to be a real good game of football, and let's find out what we're all about. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new around here. We've got some seriously good warm down guests coming very soon, so you definitely need to make sure you are subscribed. If you've not seen it, go and check out the Rio Ferdinand one. We've just had Quinton Fortune. We've also had Wes Brown on as well. There's more coming up of that sort of quality, so make sure to keep it locked. And if you're interested, come and join the Patreon group, or at least click the link and find out what it's all about. Nearly 600 in there. Hopefully we'll see you in there too. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.